Welcome to the You on the Camino de Santiago podcast. This podcast is for and about first-time pilgrims walking the pilgrimage routes in Spain, France, and Portugal. With your host, guide and longtime pilgrim, Nancy Reynolds of the Camino Experience. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Nancy here, bringing you another pilgrim conversation, this time with Katey, who is just about to take her first steps on the Camino Frances. What I love about this conversation is Katey's honesty and vulnerability as she explores the themes of her pilgrimage. Specifically, what is the significance of going after your dream? You know, the one you've been hanging on to for decades? And what happens when you finally give yourself permission to make that dream come true? Maybe you will hear parts of your own story in Katey's story. As this episode is releasing, the calendar is turning to July 2025. I've been talking about July in the last few episodes as if something big is coming, and it is. Details are coming in 2 weeks on Tuesday, July 15th, when I will share the details of the plan here on the podcast. And then on Friday, July 18th, a few people from my email list will have the chance to join the pilot program. That's when we will test out everything we have been designing and building and get this party humming. Now, if you are the type of person who likes to be first in line for new and exciting things, and if you are not currently on my email list, I'm going to recommend you get on the list now. That way, you will get the whole story on July 18th. And when you get on my email list, you also get my Camino Planning Roadmap and my top 10 tips that don't usually show up on the top 10 lists. The link to join my email list is in the show notes, or you can go directly to this website, thecaminoexperience.com/roadmap. Just be sure you open the first email I send you and click to download your roadmap, as that is how you give me permission to send you emails in the future. Otherwise, I can't send you emails. What else? Oh, you may remember from last week's episode that I was having some challenges with the sound quality of my recording. Well, that's still happening. In fact, I did 5 interviews before I realized the sound quality was off. It's not possible to re-record the interviews and get the same candid and honest conversations we got the first time around. And it's sadly not possible to edit these so they sound, well, normal. I've had 2 professional sound technicians try, and they have made some improvements, but they're still not quite right. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me on a few more episodes. Apologies to your ears, and thank you for your patience. Okay, that's all I need to say before we meet Katey. You ready for that? Here we go. Katey, hi. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to speak with me.
Oh my gosh, I've been looking forward to this ever since you sent the request in to be on the podcast. I was just intrigued. So I'm looking forward to sharing your story and hearing more about your plans and what got you to this point.
Excellent. I'm excited to share.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. So why don't we jump in where, of course, I always like to start to put the pin in the map. Would you share with us your Camino plans?
So I am so excited to start. I'm going to start in early July, and I'm going to be solo. I have a little bit of a trip, 2 weeks with my husband in Bucharest and also Paris, and then I'm sending him home, and I'm going to take a train down to St. Jean and start my walk.
Wonderful. And how far will you go?
I intend to walk the entire thing.
Okay. And the entire thing for you, would that be Santiago or would that be all the way to the coast?
Well, just to Santiago.
Just to Santiago.
Allowing, yes. Yep.
Okay. As if there's any only to Santiago, 500
Right.
miles later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And how much time do you have for your trip? or for your Camino?
So I have some extra days at the end of my plan, but I want to end on my birthday because it's kind of a big birthday.
Oh,
So if I'm hard set on ending on my birthday, I will only have about 28 days.
28 days. Okay. So you're not sure if that's how you'll do it?
I'm gonna let the way tell me what to do,
Okay.
kind of guide me.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. So 28 days to walk from Saint Jean to Santiago for some people might be a little aggressive or because you'll have to have some long days in there. Is that an option for you to walk every step and get some longer days in there?
When I first started planning, I was going to carry my pack and I'm going to walk every step. And now I'm going to transport my pack and I might take an e-bike from Burgos to Leon.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that'll cut a couple of days out of there.
Okay. You can actually chop off a week by doing it that way.
Oh, excellent.
I
Excellent.
think, yeah, it's 180 kilometers, so people walk it in a week usually, I think. So, yeah, you can certainly chop off some time there. What made you decide to switch from carrying your backpack to using luggage transport?
Hmm. I have a lot of supplements that I take to maintain my health
Okay.
and 2 months worth because I also have 2 weeks on the other side of this that I'm going to be gone. So 2 months worth of supplements was a lot to be carrying on my, that could be its own backpack by itself.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so offloading some of the essentials
Mhm.
that would actually make a difference in the quality of your trip.
Correct. I
Okay.
don't think I could probably even attempt it without taking the supplements, just
Okay.
for cognitive brain issues and a few other things that I deal with.
Gotcha. Okay. I like to ask the question because it is a different experience if you carry your backpack versus using luggage transport. And a lot of people have this idea that you actually have to have a good reason to use luggage transport. And that is a good reason to use it. So, there it
Right.
is. For everyone who
Yes.
thinks you need a good reason, there's a
Yeah.
good reason.
It is going to allow me to finish.
That's a great, great reason.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So if you imagine yourself walking in to Santiago on this significant birthday, which by the way, what do you mind saying what birthday it is?
It'll be my 55th birthday.
Oh my gosh, that is significant. Okay, so imagine yourself walking into Santiago on your 55th birthday. What are you thinking and feeling? What's the significance there?
I don't know. I'm getting emotional.
We do. It's okay.
Yeah. It's doing something for myself, I think. I became a mom as a teenager, and my oldest is almost 35. And so I was 19 when I got pregnant with him. So my entire adult life, I have been a mom
Okay.
and a grandma. And I've always dreamt of backpacking Europe. And so now this is my chance,
Oh, okay. I know that dream.
right?
I know that dream. Yeah. And I bet there are people listening who are in the same position as you. They've had that dream for their whole life, their whole
Mhm.
adult lives. And for whatever circumstances got in the way of that. And they were amazing circumstances, right? I bet you have no regrets of being a
No
mom and a
regrets
grandma,
at all.
right?
No.
Yeah. The richest, most beautiful part of your life. And now this is significant for you. This is something just for you. How does that feel to have something that's all yours and not having anything to do with being a mom or a grandma?
I'm excited for the journey of discovery
Okay.
for what the way is going to give me. I recently was diagnosed actually with autism, which I found kind of, I didn't go in there looking for that. I went in for therapy. I came
Sure.
out with a diagnosis. And
Okay.
so I laugh because it's like, oh, well, that explains so much of my life. And so I'm excited to walk and not have distractions of my kids and my grandkids. I have two more grandbabies coming. So this is a perfect time
Okay.
to do this without before they get here. One's
Uh-huh.
in September, one's in January. So
Okay.
the timing is just so great. And I'm just excited for the journey and going through it and getting to the other side, knowing who I am outside of motherhood and being a Mimi.
That's fantastic. That now you've got me emotional. This is such a significant time to discover that.
And when you discover that, then what?
Oh gosh. I haven't thought about that. I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, well, one of the things that we're learning as we're starting to talk more about what happens after the Camino
Mm.
is we're learning that it really benefits us to think about that before we even get started. To think about, okay, I'm going for this experience to discover who I am or heal from whatever I'm healing from or whatever the reasons are, go grow closer to God or whatever it is. What you want for your Camino, I assert, is what you want for your life.
Mm.
And so I've just recently started to really focus on that and encourage people to think about that before they go. So you get what you want on the Camino, then what?
Right. That's deep.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on that.
Yeah, yeah. That means we have to have you back after you walk so we can
Yeah,
find out what you discover.
right. That'd be
All
fun.
right. So this diagnosis that you have, I've talked to several people the last year who have had an adult diagnosis of autism. How has this helped you or empowered you? Has there been a positive impact from this?
Um, it has been a somewhat positive in the sense that I'm giving myself permission when I need it. If I need to wear earplugs, if I need to wear sunglasses because things are too bright, or I just give myself permission and I'm not ashamed of that.
Mm.
I do also have post-concussion syndrome from a fall on ice in 2016.
Oh
So
gosh.
I think that those symptoms are all overlapping
Okay.
somewhat. But yes, I do. I just give myself permission and I'm not um, ashamed of the self-care that I need to give myself to function on a daily basis.
Oh, that's that's empowering right there. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
empowering. And so self-care, have you been on a new discovery of what self-care is all about for you? Has that switched things up for you?
I've always been, well, always, about the last 10 years or so, I've been more on a holistic health journey. And I'm thankful that so far with my concussion, I've not had to do any medications. I
Okay.
haven't had to manage my symptoms with those. I've done some holistic, like neurofeedback and things like that, that have really improved. So, to give perspective, after my fall, we lived in Idaho and we had family in Seattle. So we would drive from Coeur d'Alene to Seattle a lot. And I wasn't able to finish that drive without taking my son to help me get through it. And it's only about 5 hours. I could get about 2.5, 3 hours into it, and then he would have to take over. So
Okay.
now, after doing some of the holistic stuff I've done, I'm able to drive more. So just attempting to do this when there was a time I couldn't drive for very long, I will be very excited to be able to complete the Camino.
Okay.
And there will be
Oh.
challenges, and I know that, but my oldest sons have both said that quitting is not an option. So I will have to finish it regardless of how I do it.
Quitting is not an option.
It's kind of a family motto. It's my own fault.
I see them sitting on your shoulders now on the Camino. You're like one on each backpack strap. Like,
Yep,
you're not
exactly.
quitting. You're not
Yep.
quitting. What would quitting mean to you on the Camino? What would that look like?
If I wasn't able to finish, the only reason I think I would not finish is if I was physically hurt to where I couldn't walk, I think. Yeah, I don't, it would be disappointing, but there's going to have to be a really big reason for it to have happened if it gets to that.
Okay. Okay. Well, you are giving yourself permission to do this trip to begin with, right? I love the idea of permission
Mm,
to do what you want to do in life. And I think there are a lot of people who maybe haven't become acquainted with that idea yet.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
So you give yourself permission to walk the Camino. What kind of experience are you hoping for?
So one of my, what would be I'd be hoping for versus what I think is going to happen. I have apprehension of, you see the Camino family, people getting walking with the same people. And part of me is I'm going solo for a reason because I tend
Mm,
to feel responsible for other people. I
okay.
find if I end up with a Camino family, I'm going to be feeling responsible for their experience.
You'll be the mom of the family, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but also part of me is I'm kind of quirky and weird, and the autism diagnosis kind of confirms that. So maybe I won't meet anybody because I'm a little bit out there. So it'll be
Okay.
very interesting.
I'm going to need you to expound on that a little bit. Quirky and weird. Tell me about that.
Um, I just have, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a hippie, but I also love Jesus. I cuss a little, like I'm a little bit just, I really don't even know who I am, which is another reason why I'm doing this.
Okay.
But all that to say, friendships have always been kind of difficult for me, which again comes back to the social interaction and the autism diagnosis and that kind of thing. So where I think I'm being a good friend might not be socially acceptable because I'm a little blunt. I might tell you how it is. And I like to go very deep with friendships. I don't like to talk about the weather.
Okay.
So maybe the Camino is gonna be the perfect place for me.
Yeah. There are probably people listening going, I want to be her friend. I want to be her friend right now.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, quirky and weird is so underrated. I think our differences are for the variety. I think that's what makes life interesting.
Mhm.
That's my opinion. I've had enough of me, like this version of a human, enough. Can I please have some interaction with quirky, weird people? That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I'm honored to be that person for you.
Yeah, I would love that. I have a feeling we could have some really great conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool. All right. So when you think of challenges on the Camino, do you have anything that you're worried about or fearful will happen on the Camino? I know that's kind of a
Um,
weird way to say it. I don't like to lean towards the negative, but because you mentioned the word challenges, I just thought to see if there's anything in your mind about that.
so for me, yes, the heat, even though I'm acclimated to Alabama,
Hmm.
when I exert energy outside in the humidity and the heat, I do get headaches.
Okay.
Again, that comes back to the concussion. So I think I'll probably be walking earlier in the day. I'll probably
Hmm.
be one of those 4:35 a.m.ers just to be out of the heat because it's going to be hot. I don't know if it's going to be hot as Alabama in July, but
It's going to be hot, but I think a little drier because
dry is good. I
you're
can do
pretty humid
dry. It's
there.
the humidity that kills
Y-
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. So the
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah. So the heat, I think I'll be fine with the heat, but if it's the humidity is what tends to be more challenging.
Hmm.
The sweaty head brings a headache and then but I have I have my, what is the headband thing that everybody talks about?
The buff?
The buff. I got a
Yeah.
buff. I'm like, I
Okay.
can wet that down in the water and put it back
Yep.
on wet,
Soak
right?
that down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put my whole head under the fountain if I have to.
You'll see people doing that for
Yeah.
sure. They
Yeah.
also make these things that you put around your neck that you can get cold. You get them cold and they stay cold and you put them around your neck.
I have one of those too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Bring it because I think
Yes.
you might
Yeah.
need it. Yeah. I'm hearing reports even now. We're recording this in the middle of June and there are reports of very high temperatures, which makes it hard on the pilgrims.
Hmm.
One of the challenges of the heat is not just being on the trail, but at the end of the day, being inside in an albergue or a hotel where air conditioning is not quite a thing.
Mm.
It's pretty uncommon to find air conditioning in a place along the Camino. What types of accommodations are you staying in?
I plan on staying in albergues. I'm trying to well, okay, back up. I'm trying not to book them all out because I have control issues. So I am booked to Pamplona. So
Okay.
um, I'm doing a few bigger rooms. I'm trying to find 4 to 6 bed female only,
Okay.
but just the smaller rooms. And then I'm going to try and sprinkle in a couple private rooms in there too.
That sounds great.
I'm trying to mix it up a bit. I'm not going to be completely shut off from everybody, but I also don't want to sleep in a room with 50 other people because I need my sleep.
That's a different experience for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, the good news is, and this is something people don't often realize, July is pretty slow at the beginning of the Camino Frances. So from Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port until you get to Sarria, it's not very busy.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have any trouble finding places to stay. And you should have
Excellent.
choices. Yeah.
Pamplona, the first week of July is very expensive.
Ah, and we know why, right?
Yes,
What's
yes.
going on?
The running of the bulls.
Yeah. San Fermin and the running of the Bulls Festival takes up what, 8, 9 days? And the
Yes.
prices go crazy. What did you end up doing for Pamplona then?
I did find a bed in a hostel. It was $99.
For a bed in a dorm?
Yeah, which was normally 25, I think,
Oh my gosh.
but it will work and it's closer. I was going to book like a Holiday Inn out of town,
Mm-hmm.
and that was going to be just too far out of the way.
Yeah, I remember we emailed about that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be a different experience.
It would be.
Yeah. I think the thing with Pamplona during that festival is to go in with the idea that you can skip a night of sleep if you have to.
Correct. Which I think I
Because
probably will be.
yeah, because even if you've got a bed somewhere, regardless of the price, it's a pretty nocturnal festival. People will be
Right.
up and out all into the night. People talk about the running of the bulls and think that's what the festival is, but it's actually much more than that. There will be music all over the city and people partying and celebrating all
Mhm.
the time. I think there's a lull in the day right after the bull run finishes. People go in and probably, shower and crash and then come back out, but it's a very busy time in
Once in a
Pamplona.
lifetime experience. No more than
Exactly,
I for one night of
exactly.
sleep.
Yeah. My theory, I'm not great in shared dorm rooms, so my thought is if I'm in a shared dorm room, because that's my only option, for example, at Refuge Orson, that's my only option,
Mm-hmm.
is I rest.
Mm,
I don't worry about sleeping, I just focus on resting, and then eventually I fall asleep because I'm rested. I've
right.
rested down.
Right.
But, it's quite possible there'll be people coming in and out all night long, so it might
Mm,
not be very
so
tranquilo.
fun.
No, no, one night only,
One
and then
night,
you
it'll be
keep
totally
walking
fine.
on through.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. The other thing is in July, Sarria de Santiago could be busy. So by the time you get to that end of the trail, you may discover you need to start making reservations a day in advance. That's when there are often school groups,
Oh, right.
yeah, or other big groups and
Mm,
holiday makers, right? Because that's July and especially August is when Europeans take their holidays.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, but you have the luxury of choosing things as you go and changing your plan if you need to and controlling what you want.
And that's going to be the biggest learning experience for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can give yourself permission
I
to
can.
be in control or not.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And also to be open to what is supposed to be happening for me is another thing. I need to be
yeah,
open. That's the whole reason for going on this pilgrimage, is to go with an open heart and
yeah.
receive what is given.
Oh, I like that. Mm, very good. All right. So here's a question I've been asking people lately. I don't know if you've listened to the more recent episodes of the podcast. What do you wish someone would ask you about your Camino, but nobody's asked you yet?
I've been thinking about this question because I have heard you ask it on the
Okay,
podcast.
good.
And I don't even know if there is a question they could ask because they wouldn't understand my answer because they're not
Oh,
in the same headspace.
okay.
Or those that have walked it get it. Those that haven't walked it, they think I'm crazy. Right. So I don't
Yeah.
even know if I could answer it if they asked me.
Okay. Let me ask it differently then.
Okay.
Is there something you would like to share about your upcoming Camino,
Mm.
but no one's asked you the right question?
My husband and I had a conversation yesterday, and he was talking about making sure I get out of it what I'm going for. And then already in this conversation with you, I don't even really know what it is I'm trying to get out of it. I'm
Okay.
trying to find who I am, but like you said, what about the end of it? So he is a little bit more open to hearing my why. But yeah, I don't know if that really answers the question. I guess I really don't even know. I don't even really know myself how
Mm,
to answer it.
okay. Okay. Well, what kind of questions are you getting about your Camino when people hear you're going to do this?
You're going to walk how many miles
On purpose?
on purpose and by yourself?
And by yourself.
That's the biggest thing, is the solo and the fear for my safety. And I'm like, I traveled to Bangkok by myself. I think this is going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Camino is not a place that I need to be worried about.
Yeah. And being a savvy traveler, we have to be alert and aware and take all of our precautions that we can take and walk proud, walk strong, and yeah,
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to be walking with my head in the sand, but I
yeah,
definitely am not going to be nearly as concerned as walking in Bangkok by myself.
yeah, yeah. And the risks that you find in bigger cities like Barcelona, you're not, you don't have to protect yourself from pickpockets every second of the day, or
Right.
you're not at an Italian train station where that happens. So, so frequently. Yeah. So
Correct.
that's good. That's good. All
Yeah.
right. So, what would you like to talk about? What else would you like to share with us?
I think I'm good. I don't know. I don't think I have any questions. I kind of obsess, and this is where the autism comes in. I've been absolutely obsessed for like 2 months since I figured out that the timing of this trip was going to happen.
Okay.
So I've really done so much research to the point where I'm like, there's nothing more I can do except walk it, and I can't plan anything else. I just have to do it at this point. So,
What does your obsession look like? If someone were to observe you and go, "Wow, she's obsessed," what would they be seeing?
well, I'm watching all the YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Every time my husband walks in the room, I've got YouTube on the TV and trying to figure out, where should I stay? Are there any albergues I should really not miss? Or what are the do things or overnight stays if I wanted to stay more than one night someplace?
Mhm.
um, where are the best places to? I just don't want to miss anything. And I also am fearful of the fact that if I don't make a reservation every day when I start out, I will take 5 hours and only get maybe 10 miles because I want to stop at all the cafes. So
Uh,
I need to be a little bit more disciplined in that way.
okay, a little bit of structure.
A little
Yeah.
bit of structure.
Yeah.
Because I could just sit at the cafe and drink cafe con leche all day and be totally happy.
Right. Well, and you may do that a couple days, but
I might.
with a 28-day schedule, you're going to
Yeah.
have to make some time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So having a destination when you set out might be useful.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great example of knowing yourself and knowing your own limitations and creating a structure for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
Very
good.
nice. Well, the other thing is, since you'll be transporting your luggage, you have to have a destination in mind so you know where to send your luggage.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I did waffle back and forth with that because I wanted to have the freedom to stop when I wanted or walk further if I wanted.
Yeah.
It just isn't going to be possible with the amount of vitamins and supplements I need to bring. So
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll
that's
need
okay.
to decide the night before because the luggage transport companies need to know by 8 p.m. where they're picking up your bag and taking it to the next day.
Which is for me, I think excellent because I was going to try and book out every day. And that was not only becoming overwhelming, but what if I can't walk 25K or,
Yeah.
depending. I'm sure earlier on I'm going to not be able to walk as easily, but towards the middle, I might be able to walk further.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great strategy is to start slow and conservative and get to know your body with the day pack that you're carrying and how it
Hmm.
how you do with the different types of terrain. By the
Right,
time you reach Pamplona, you will have been on every type of terrain that you're
right.
going to get the entire way. So by
Hmm.
Pamplona, you'll be able to go, all right, here's what I've learned. Here's what I need to do differently. Here's how I want this to go. And
Hmm.
you'll also have a sense of if you really need to walk every step, or if you can get the bike in the middle, or if you can skip some stages, and what that
Hmm.
would mean for you.
I do think I will probably skip any type of industrial areas in and out. I'm not
Yeah.
super keen on walking next to the highway, just
Yeah.
be overwhelmed,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, noise and road noise and whatever. So
Yeah.
those times, I think.
Excellent. And if you use, I don't know if you're familiar with the John Brierly guidebook.
I have it.
Yeah, great. So that's a great one because the map that he has will show you how close you are to the highway
Oh,
in a
excellent.
really easy to use way.
Hmm.
And my pro tip on the John Brierly book is if you have access to an online library system, like I know in California, ours is called Hoopla. I can download or get access to an online version of the John Brierly guidebook, and the maps fit perfectly on a smartphone screen. Super
Oh,
easy to
excellent.
use.
I
So
will
if
look into that.
before you go on your trip, you borrow that from your online library, you'll have
Right.
those maps. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that tip.
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you'd like to share or talk about?
I think I'm good.
Okay, I wanna do a follow-up question then. I wanna go back to the YouTube videos that you're watching. When you say you are watching them just all the time, nonstop, obsessed, what about those YouTube videos is attracting you? What's pulling you in on those?
I like to see where they're going. I
Okay.
like to see just the route, and it might be somebody just walking and recording while they're walking. There was a couple of girls, actually TikTok was another area that they share their content every day and kind of the emotional ups and downs that they're going through. And
Okay.
so just watching their journey. And there was another couple that I followed. She had her own TikTok and then they had one together. And so just, short little blips of their day and what was good and what was bad, what to expect, what might happen, what might not happen.
Okay. And is that a way to imagine yourself on the trail, or is that a way to find out things that you do and don't want to have happen on your Camino?
More to see myself in it,
Mhm.
to be prepared for what
Okay.
might happen or might
So
not
it's
happen.
kind of both.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, any final words before we wrap up? Anything you'd like to say?
I just appreciate you taking the time to talk, and I'm excited to come back and share more about what I experienced.
Ah, wonderful. I'm just so happy to talk to women in my age group for one, because, I'm about to hit 60 in September, and I'm just really seeing how we are just getting started,
We are just getting started.
right?
Us Gen Xers are a whole new level.
I mean, come on. We have done so much in our lives already. And
Yes,
now there's something about this Camino community as well that I think is just igniting something where we're going, wait a minute, if I can
right.
walk across a country at this age, what
Yeah.
else can I do?
Yes. Yes.
And we're not the only ones. I think people of all ages walk away with a little bit of that from the Camino. But all
Yeah,
genders and all ages go,
for sure.
Look what I just did."
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So now what am I gonna do? And I
right.
think, the Camino walking the Camino really shows us the importance of that community and those like-minded people
Mm-hmm.
to share the journey with,
Mm-hmm.
and then also to have a purpose, right? When you
Yeah,
hit the trail, you have a purpose, and
right.
that, I think, is going to be a theme coming up.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent. Katie, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really enjoyed talking with you. I wish I was on the trail in July. It's just too darn hot for me, but
I didn't pick it. It picked me. I'm just excited that it all fell into place.
when is the best time to walk the Camino? When it fits in your calendar.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much. Buen Camino.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.